You got to get fired up. You got to get pissed off. If you don't like being called a loser, do something about it. If you get mad when I say you're fat, then get in shape. If you're sick and tired of getting broke, let's get to fucking work. Because look there's a million opportunities out there right now to succeed. Are you finding them, or are you focusing on the 5 reasons why you suck and why you're stuck? Welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Crane. Thank you for tuning in today. Like always, we're here in beautiful Santa Barbara, California in the Unstoppable HQ. Now, before I share this message, please subscribe and share my podcast channel, my YouTube channel, whatever you're tuning in on, with a friend, with a family member, with somebody that you know needs to be inspired and uplifted today. I'm going to share with you guys 5 steps to become a powerful man. So if you're a young man, if you're a middle-aged man, it doesn't matter. If you apply these principles into your life, it's going to have a positive effect. And I'm all about being an example and a leader for other men, for our families, for our wives. Because look at you guys, society is weak as fuck right now. You know, there's not a lot of strong men walking around. That's why we stand out. If you have a strong physique, you stand out. If you have a lot of money, you stand out. If you're charismatic, positive, if you're a good leader, if you're a good person, like, you stand out, man, because society's standards have dropped drastically. And a lot of people just give up and they settle. They settle for whatever comes their way. And I hate seeing that, man. So I'm on a mission to bring this awareness to you and to coach you guys, to lead you, and to be the example. And so today I want to share with you 5 steps that I've implemented in my life that have helped me to become a powerful man. A man that can lead his family, a man that can produce results, a man that can help other men and other people. Right? And so the first one is sobriety. Sobriety is a must if you want to be a powerful leader and if you want to be the best version of yourself. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule. There are some athletes or celebrities or people out there who can have a drink occasionally or take a pill or smoke some weed or whatever it is and still function at a really high level. But for the masses, sobriety is a must to become their best selves. For most of you listening to this, you need to be sober to really evolve into the best version that you could ever become. Now, the reason for that is because when you are not sober, you disconnect from that intuition and that feeling inside of you that's going to guide you in your life. This is very much a spiritual experience that we're having here on earth. Whether you believe in God, the afterlife, a higher power, whatever you believe in, I'm here to tell you that there's more that meets the eye. Now, before sobriety, I was just existing on that surface level plane that most of you exist on, where it's like a cause and effect, right? You react, you're just doing things, you're living your life. And when I got sober and I really was able to develop myself, I started to have these feelings and these thoughts and ideas, and I felt myself change. Like, this evolution took place. And I credit it to my sobriety and my ability to think beyond the moment in my life, and I found purpose in a lot of the things that I had experienced. And so a lot of people, though, they're constantly checking out. Instead of facing challenges head on, instead of thinking and reflecting on their life on a deeper level, they're always looking to the weekend. They're always thinking about that TV show later in the night, or get excited about their dinner they're going to eat, or that drink they're going to have. They're in their phones all day long. Most people are numb. They're constantly escaping, and they're constantly numb in their lives. And this is because they don't love their lives, so they're always looking for ways to escape. But how could you actually change something and fix something if you're always escaping from it? What you're doing is you're prolonging change. You're making it impossible to change, right? You're the fucking problem. So if you want to change your life, sobriety is a must. Now, I see a lot of people that react to adversity or stress by having a drink or numbing themselves and checking out. And they typically will make the problem worse. They don't fix it. They don't face whatever they're experiencing in a way that they can find a solution. They try to run from it. This is another reason being sober is so important. Like, if you can lean into that stress and you can face these challenges, you can be honest with yourself and address what's taking place in your life that's not optimal. Now you are empowered to do something about it. But most people don't do that. They're always just escaping. They're always trying to alleviate the pain in a way that's not conducive to growth and who they want to be. So look at you guys, like, seriously, think about this. You got in an argument with your wife and then you went and had drinks. Did it make it better? Like, over the long term, when you react by having drinks or smoking weed or whatever, it doesn't make your life better. You probably repeat the same thing the next week. The same issue comes up again, the same conflict, right? Like, whatever happens in your life, if you're turning to a substance, it's not going to help you to fix the issue, and it's not going to help you to elevate above it. It keeps you actually stuck in that same area of life, that same cyclical pattern where these things will continue to transpire and you just try to run from them and check out. And I notice with a lot of people, man, like people that aren't sober, they don't think as quickly. They're not as sharp. They don't analyze things as critically. They're not as crisp and clear on their vision of where they want to go in life. And then like from a physical standpoint, it affects your health, it affects your energy, it affects your sleep. So across the board, most people listening to this, I'd say 99%, you need to be sober in order to live your best life. And the best way I could describe it, you guys, without trying to sit here and just like sell you on this idea is, dude, like when I got sober, I started to see the world in a whole different light. Before sobriety, I never felt the emotions that I feel today. I never had the level of gratitude and love. You know, like I just didn't feel as connected as I do now. Now I feel so connected and centered. Like I feel so happy with myself for the way I'm living. I don't need to escape. I don't need to check out. And knowing that I get to bring this man home to my wife and kids, that we get to raise our children in a sober household, like, I love that so much, man. You know, when my wife and I got together, she made a decision to be sober because she knew how important it was for me and my health, my vitality. She knows what happened to my family and those individuals who battled from addiction with addiction and ultimately succumbed to that addiction. So she made a commitment to be sober. Our lives are so beautiful together. Like the amount of conflict when you're sober is drastically reduced. Like you don't sabotage and make things worse. The fun that you can have, like being present in the moment. People think they can't have fun being sober, and I used to think that as well. You have way more fun. You feel way more alive. Like the connections that you can feel in your marriage, to your children, to your purpose, to your goals, to yourself, nothing compares. Like when you're not sober, you don't feel that way. You have little bits and pieces and moments where you kind of get some insight as to what it might be like. You kind of like have that little connection, but unless you're sober for long periods of time, you're not going to really be able to establish that connection and become your whole best self. That's my opinion. Number two, the second step to becoming a powerful man is discipline. Discipline is going to allow you to get a lot of shit done in life. Right? Discipline means you're going to learn how to be consistent. Discipline means you're going to learn how to forge willpower and push through difficult moments. Whether you're sick, whether you're tired, whether you have negative thoughts. Like discipline means that you can get the fucking job done no matter what. Now, for me on my journey, I've never thought once about being disciplined. I never sat there and wrote down, I want to be disciplined, or thought, man, I need to be more disciplined. For me, it was like, I have to do this fucking work to feel the way I want to feel and to create the life I want to live. That's it, end of story. Like, I want it so bad, I'm going to do the work regardless of how I feel. Like, obviously, right? But the fact that most people struggle in this area, you know, it just shows a couple things that, like, they don't have clarity as to what they want. They don't believe they can achieve their goals. They're not thinking big enough. And again, like, that's why sobriety is so important as well. You have to get that fucking laser focus on where you're going in your life and say, I'm going there. This is what I want. Nothing else matters. Like, you have to get to that point if you want to achieve some great things in your lifetime. And a lot of people are indecisive. They waste time. They make excuses. Like, then they go have that drink or they eat that food and they sabotage themselves, you know? And so they don't ever develop the discipline to actually get the results. Like I said, I never think about discipline. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. If you struggle with discipline, it's because you don't know why the fuck you're doing what you're doing. And the stakes aren't great enough for you, or there hasn't been a pain threshold met, or maybe you don't care about your family as much as you say you do. I don't know. Think about it. Why don't you have the results that you want? Why don't you? Like, why don't you want it more? Why don't you work harder? Why don't you try harder? Why do you let those petty excuses stop you? Think about this shit. Again, this is why sobriety is important. Sit there and feel the pain behind these answers and these realizations, and then do something about it. But you got to reflect. You got to search deeper within yourself. Don't go check out. Don't run to a pill. Don't go scrolling on your phone. Don't pick up that drink. Like, don't run from this shit. Face it. Face it and figure out why you're at where you're at right now, and then make a plan to do something about it. Okay? Number three, the third step, or the third component to becoming a powerful man, is fitness. Nothing in your life, nothing in the world, and please challenge me on this, message me, comment below. Like, I want to know if you have an answer that actually makes sense, right? And if it makes sense, I'll implement this into my life. But nothing in the world will transform you the way fitness will. I'm telling you, nothing will. Nothing will help you to develop that discipline, to build that confidence in yourself. Nothing will help you with your mindset and create more positive thoughts. Nothing. And for me, fitness is everything. It's spiritual, it's mental, it's physical. I'm a better dad and husband because I'm fit. Like, I'm a better leader because I'm fit. I'm a more spiritual version of myself because I've found that connection with God through long runs, through long bike rides, through moments of suffering that, I put myself in those moments, right? But because in those moments, I just search for that inner strength, and that's God giving me the strength. I make that connection in those moments. You don't find that connection sitting on the fucking couch watching football on Sunday, drinking your beer and eating your Cheetos, dude. Like, you don't. You don't. That's the farthest place that you need to be from becoming your best self. Like, why do you think back in the old days, people would go on these long journeys, these odysseys, these missions, these treks? They would fast. They would go out in the wilderness. Like, they would get away from civilization and comfort and pleasure. It's because and why do you think monks live the way they do? Monks don't have sex. They don't eat for pleasure. They don't do anything that normal people do that you would call pleasurable. They shave their heads and they live in a monastery for their entire lives. Now, I'm not saying everyone should be a monk and like that's the right path for you, but I'm saying when you have that type of discipline and you remove any like pleasure-seeking behavior and you suffer a little bit, that's the pathway to becoming a spiritual person and finding a connection with God. And that's kind of what fitness does in the modern world. Like, think about it. You go into the gym and move some heavy-ass weight early in the morning or sometime in the day. It's painful. Your muscles are aching and screaming. You got lactic acid building up. Your mind's telling you to quit. Oh, that was enough. I'll just do 8 reps. Fuck that. I'm doing 20, right? Like, who are you going to be in those moments? It's the ultimate test. It's you versus you. Oh, I'm just going to cut out early and just do half my workout. Fuck that. I'm going harder. I'm going to work out an extra hour, right? Like, every day you have a decision. Are you going to push harder and be better? Or are you going to make an excuse? Like, every day it's you versus you. And it's the ultimate form of personal development. Literally, you're putting yourself in difficult circumstances where you have 2 choices: level up or be a pussy. That's it. And a lot of life comes down to that type of mindset. All day long, people are negotiating with themselves and they're settling for a lesser version of who they could become. If you could train yourself to always go above and beyond, try harder, lift more weight, work out longer, eat better, like be more dedicated to your family, give that extra energy and focus every day in your life, dude, this is the mentality of a winner. And the gym is where you cultivate this mentality, or out on those long bike rides or on those runs. Push yourself. And don't just go through the motions. Like, hot yoga is cool, right? To stretch your muscles. Like, hiking's cool. Walking's good for the body. But dude, if you want to become a fucking beast and an elite individual in this life, build a physique that is impressive. Get your body fat below 10%. Like, lift heavy weight. Like, being an example. Look like an action figure. Like a modern day action figure. Most of you men out there couldn't even do it. I'm going to call you out and challenge you. Send me a picture in a couple years when you do it, man. 90% of you are fat, dude, and you're the guys eating Cheetos, watching football, calling it your team. Ha! You guys are jokes, man. Come on. We got to raise the standards around here. Fitness is a catalyst for success. If you're not making that a non-negotiable every day, you're missing out. Number 4, the 4th step to becoming a powerful man, and these are in no particular order, these are just 4 elements of becoming a powerful man, is wealth, making a lot of money. Now, why is this important? Not so you could flash on Instagram and say how cool you are and take selfies with your car. It's because, look at you guys, I remember, like, I've been broke so many times. I come from a household where we live paycheck to paycheck, and we actually had to leave our childhood home because they raised the rent. We could no longer afford it. And I remember right out of high school, I was doing tree service for my uncle's company, and I'd make $1,000 a week cash, and I'd go home, and I'd give my Uncle Mike, who was raising me and my siblings, $900 every week. Boom, I'd keep $100. And my friends thought I was crazy at the time, but for me, that's what we did, man. It was survival, and I had to take care of my family and contribute. And it's because I saw my uncle do that every week, every month for my whole life. Like, he would work his butt off, and he would do, contracting work. He was a handyman. He would do all these different jobs. And at the end of the day, it was just to get by and pay the bills. Put food on the table, pay the rent, keep the electricity on, and let's keep working hard. So I understood what hard work meant, but seeing that growing up, like, we were broke, and there was things that we didn't have and things we couldn't do because of that. Now, as I'm older and I have a family to take care of and I have young children, I want to make sure that I can provide at the highest level, and we have nothing but options to live the ultimate life. There's no limitations in my world. What school my children want to go to, where we want to live, what type of house we want to live in, what kind of car my wife's going to drive, the amount of money I can donate to charity, the amount of people I can help and give back to. Like, some of the coolest things in life is being able to bless other people that are going through hardships. One of the coolest things is to be able to shoot someone a Venmo that doesn't even expect it with a large sum of money. And they're like, dude, fuck, you just sent me like $5,000. Did you mean to do that? Like, that's some of the coolest stuff. And honestly, those are the moments I used to envision in prison, like thinking about making all this money and being able to, buy my dad a house. My dad passed away. I don't get to do that now, right? Or being able to like take care of somebody who's struggling, be able to give back, man, to the people that helped me growing up. And so money's important because when you have a good amount of money, when you have accumulated wealth, it no longer becomes a concern or worry. And I was sharing this on a coaching call with some of my guys. When people have financial stress and there's scarcity in their mind, it corrupts their thinking, their energy, and their spirit. And a lot of people don't know how to react to those moments in life. When money's tight, they start to get all negative. They start to, then go have more drinks, then like do things to try to escape, but it doesn't make the situation better. And a lot of times those guys are bringing that drama or that negativity home to their wives. They're arguing with their wives. They're, not as pleasant to be around for their children. They're just not happy. Like anybody listening to this can attest to that when you're broke and struggling to pay your bills, it's not a fun place to be. So it's a responsibility as a man to learn and develop skills and attain knowledge and build relationships and study wealthy people so that you can be one. I remember like when I was younger, my uncle would always talk about wealthy people, like, fucking rich. They're always like getting over. And he would talk about like Trump too and like hate on Trump. And every time you talk about wealthy people, I never looked down on wealthy people or think they were bad. I'd think, man, how the fuck did they get there? I want to be like that. I want to learn what they've learned so I could do it too, right? But I'm going to be a good person. Like I'm not going to be, I'm not going to turn corrupt. I'm not going to like do shady things to get to the top. But I want to learn how to be in that position in life where I have a lot more options. There's less financial stress and fear, and I live in a world free of limitations. And that's what I'm creating right now. And so if you're listening to this and you're struggling financially, dude, pay attention to the first three things I shared. Sobriety, discipline, fitness. Like you got to develop yourself first. Are you the type of person that even has confidence that you could build the ultimate life like I'm describing right now? That's why when I shared about fitness, like it creates a confidence in you and a belief that you can do so much more in your life than you're doing right now. And you're going to start to look at your job or your career, your financial situation, the house you live in. Like you're going to start to look at everything and you're going to start to compare it to the physique you're building or the development that you're acquiring for yourself. And it doesn't match up. You're going to fucking do something about it. You're not going to settle, right? Like a lot of people don't get this. The results you have in life are a reflection of what you believe you deserve and what you're worth. If you start to look around, you're like, dude, I don't want to live in this house anymore. I want to do more for me and my family, man. I don't want to send my daughter to just some lame private school or public school. I want to send her to the best private school. Like for me, this is what happened to me. The more I develop myself, the more I work on myself, and the more I look at every area of life and think this could be better. I want to improve this. Like whether it's my marriage, like the clothes my wife's wearing, the car she's driving, the house we're in, the way that my kids are being taught at school, the education they're getting, like everything, man, every little thing, because I know that I deserve it. And I know that if I work hard, I can achieve it. This is a byproduct of all the hard work I've put into myself to this point, having discipline, being sober, using fitness as a catalyst for success. And so for those of you listening to this is going to be the biggest struggle you have in your life. Living paycheck to paycheck, worrying about money, not having the house you want, not having the opportunities that you want because of that situation. It's up to you to fix it. If other people can fix it, you can too. Study them, hire them, get mentorships, and work on yourself every day until you believe you deserve more. Number 5, why is this all important? Why is it important to become a powerful man? So that you can have influence. If you don't influence your children, if you don't influence your loved ones, if you don't influence the people that you spend time with, if you don't have influence over yourself, the world's going to impose their beliefs onto you and your loved ones. And you're going to be fucked. Because if you let the world impose their beliefs, if you let the government and society impose their beliefs upon you and your loved ones, you're probably going to have fat kids who go to a shitty public school, who don't believe in themselves, and then go get a 9-to-5 where they struggle paycheck to paycheck their entire lives just to pay back their college debt. Like, dude, it's a joke right now. 9 out of 10 people check those boxes. Why? Because you don't have influence over yourself. How could you ever have influence over your children? How could you ever lead them in the proper way? You can't even lead yourself. Look at your body. Look at your bank account. Look at the way you're living. This might sound harsh, but it's the truth. The reason I tell you this is because I know you're made for more. I was once somebody who felt stuck. I was living as a shadow of the person I wanted to be. I was I was a loser, you guys. I was a loser. And I was following the footsteps of other family members who are losers or were losers. And they died lesser versions of themselves. I hate that. I'm here to make it all right. I'm here to honor them and who they could have been because I knew that they were special and great too. They just didn't get a chance to prove it. I'm here to honor them in the way I live. And I want to be an example to show you what's possible. So look, you got to get fired up. You got to get pissed off. If you don't like being called a loser, do something about it. If you get mad when I say you're fat, then get in shape. If you're sick and tired of getting broke, let's get to fucking work. Because look there's a million opportunities out there right now to succeed. Are you finding them, or are you focusing on the 5 reasons why you suck and why you're stuck? Change your mindset, change your perspective, change your life. Let's go.